Should be on.
You good?
Yep.
All right, we'll go ahead and call the Board of Zoning Appeals to order at 5:02 PM. Can I get a roll call?
Chairman Rowe,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Andrus, Ms. Curley,
Here.
Mr. Golis.
Here.
All right, before we get started, I'll just go back through, obviously, I think most of us were here last time, so this is a board of 5. You'll need 3 yes votes for your variance to be approved. Obviously, we are short one board member, it looks like, so it'll be up to you, should you want to proceed with going for the variance request or postpone it to the next scheduled meeting. So with that, I would, obviously, make sure you step up to the podium, make sure you're signed in. And signed in, state your name when you get up and present your variance request and go from there. So we'll go ahead and get started. Our first waiver is W 1745-25, waiver of ordinance 101-2024, section 1155.02B1 relating to fences. The location is 3410 Warden Road. The applicant owner is Catherine Orlando. So again, make sure you step up to the podium, state your name, address, and what your variance request is this time.
This time,
Yeah.
instead of coming out 8 foot, if it's too intrusive, I'm asking the commission to grant me a variance of 4 foot. If I could just show you this. This is where they're proposing, I put the fence, but of course the fence is thicker than that string. And I was looking up different laws and stuff in the state of Ohio, and they said it's really unsafe. I asked a fireman also to have a fence leaning up against the pool. I checked my grounds in my yard to see if I could move the pool, and actually the pool was put there for a reason, because the ground slopes way down, and then it would be on top of the neighboring house behind my house, on top of their fence, so there's no place really to go with it. So I'm asking if I could come out from the front 4 feet, and I actually went around to many homes in Oregon, and there's even a house at Schmidlin and Pickle, and their fence is coming out 14 feet from in front of their house. But that's what I'm asking for today as a variance, so I can get this fence put up, because it's been postponed forever. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else here to speak for or against the matter? Or I guess, is there any questions from the board before we go that route?
Could you explain to me again why you can't relocate the pool?
Where the pool sits, the ground is very level, and if I move it to the right, there's no room, there's no really land there, because it's talking about, you're talking about the strip behind the house, because that's a side yard. To the right of that pool, and the ground goes down, all the ground runs down, which is great for the basement of the home, you know, for water running off of it. But in the corner part of that yard, it can't be moved there, there's a shed that sits on a cement floor. I can't move it in the front of the yard, because I couldn't fence it. So where they put this
Chuck, can you pull the
pool-
aerial view up?
I'm sorry?
Can you put the aerial view up?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. There was one closer, I think. Zoomed in a little more.
That's the only Aries view, I
Maybe not.
believe.
Okay.
Zoom in on that one.
If you see, I couldn't move it back, and I can't move it forward, and I can't really move it towards the Duvendix home, because there's no way to fence it, and to have, where they put that pool, whoever owned that home before me, which I've heard nightmares, people that lived there, I didn't know that when I bought the home, I hope it's not reflecting on me. But they put it there because it's level, it's actually sunk in there, the deck is sunk in there, and I surveyed the whole yard. The only way I could do is move it in the front of the house by the road, where it's not even level out there. So where the pool sits, I know why they put it there. It's the only level, solid ground where it will sit normally. Awkward yard,
Any other questions from the board? Anybody else here to speak for or against the matter? Again, yeah, make sure you're signed in, and then state your name, address, and then go ahead and present whatever additional information you have.
All right, so this does better. The old neighbors were horrible, you don't reflect on that, and I hope it doesn't start our relationship off rocky. I'm just gonna present the facts why I am against, the
State his name
fence.
and
And it feels like I've been here before. Can you hear me?
Just make sure you state your name and address
I'm
as well
sorry.
before you get started.
Charlie Duvendak, 3512 Warden Road. So I'm about 5 doors down from the house that's at question, and I grew up in the house right next door. So I feel like I went over some of these last time. That particular house sits closer to the road than any of them else on Warden Road. The neighbor across the street had to put his fence at 4 feet, even with the houses. They had put up a 6-foot fence, and they were required to cut it back. I still believe the pool could be moved. I didn't talk to the same people she talked to, but I had a pool moved at my property at 3512, and my yard slopes quite a bit, and they brought in sand and they dug it level, and then they moved the pool to there, because my pool came from the next door neighbor's house. So the main reason I'm here against this is my mother lives at 3426. And when she's allowed, I believe by law, I don't want to state the law, but I believe she's allowed to do anything she wants, even with the front of the house. And then if she goes past the front of her house, it has to be 4 foot or shorter, and that's why we're here. So just if she goes even with the house with the 6-foot fence, it really encroaches on the way my mom's home looks. Can you zoom in on that or no?
Would you like it on Aries or something else?
That's from her porch.
So
That's a picture from her very front porch.
it's drawing for, this is even with the edge of the house because the overhang's like 2 feet. So I put a yellow line 4 feet. And then, so this is the property line, and then this is the green line straight across, which you can see is farther than any other home. And I've got the whole street if you want to see. So if you move it out approximately 4 feet from the home, so like 2 feet from the overhang, it comes to here, and that's what my mom's left with. So as you drive down the street, you're not even going to see her home until you get maybe in here.
This is Mrs. Duvendik's, this is from her porch view. If you're standing on her front porch, which would be from this view, that's her front porch. Looking, because she said she was having, the reason she was upset is she wouldn't be able to see the house, this house across the street. But if this fence is running this way and curves up this way, it's not gonna block anything to do with her home. Unfortunately, her house sits back further. I can't help that. I can't move my home.
At this point, I guess, let's let Charlie present his information, and we'll have you come back up and you can present your stuff.
Okay, so, so 3426 sets back, and it's the design of my mom's home at 3426 with the house setting back farther from the garage. When they built the home, or the home was built, they couldn't move it out any farther because it had to be in line with the rest of the homes. My worry is when you're driving down the road, all you're gonna see is a big white 6-foot tall fence until you get right in front of my mom's home. My mother's 80 years old, and I really don't want that if an ambulance is coming down or if somebody's trying to find the house. Years ago, 3 houses down, there was a hedgerow that went almost out to the street, and there was a young boy riding a bicycle, and he flew out into the street, and he got struck by a pickup truck going the speed limit, and he died a week later. And that would present the same situation. Now, my mom's not gonna let kids ride up and down her driveway, but if a kid was riding as fast as he could towards the street, and it's that close to the corner, and it's a 6-foot fence. A car would never see him. My mom's lived there for over 50 years. And the other two worries I have is, if the fence goes up, the fence is there forever. If she moves in a year or two, the fence is still there. So I think that's all my points.
All right, thank you. You want to present additional information?
Yes, please.
Okay.
From where the front of this fence is actually gonna be coming out 4 foot, it's 36 feet from the road. That's a distance from where that fence is, from the front lawn all the way to the edge of the road. It's not intrusive, it's not invading anybody's sight as far as traffic, it's not impeding traffic. I don't understand why it's being so resisted and fought about. It's on my property, it's not encroaching on anybody else's property, and it's a fence. It's just a fence.
Thank you. Anybody else here to speak for or against the matter?
Hi, I'm Sharon Duvendak, and I lived at 3426 next door to where the pool is. And I understand she needs a fence. I understand she can do that up to her house. I don't understand why she needs 3 more feet or 4 more feet or whatever it is she's asking for. It should just stop right at her house. Any questions?
All right, anybody else here to speak for or against the matter? Any additional questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman, are we able to provide a condition that if the current land property owner were to move away, that the fence upon selling would have to be reduced to the allowable 4 foot?
This is the part where I look over and Steve is here to say, sure, that's.
Well, 3 foot, whatever the allowable is.
We can put conditions on, but it's really comes down to enforcement. Correct. Correct. So I think we can have a condition, it's just whether it's enforced. Step up, step forward.
So the other thing I didn't mention, Charlie Duvendeck, 3512, is when you drive around Oregon, there's a lot of leaning fences. We have winters, we have a lot of rain. You have some neighborhood fences look horrible. They're leaning each direction. And once a fence goes up, if you don't have a homeowner that's maintaining it season to season, it's gonna look crappy, so.
So not, and a lot of those, unfortunately, that doesn't come to this board, it really comes down to, becomes a nuisance and you basically have to report it.
Right.
You don't need to, from my understanding, you can report an offense to the zoning back to the zoning department, you don't need to even include your name. So that's how those should be.
I feel that's a city thing, so, I mean, that's good to know, I guess.
Yeah. Yes.
And I would, Charlie, I would expand on that. The council did just pass the property maintenance code.
Correct.
Where things like that are more properly addressed. And so it's easier for us to enforce maintenance of
Even
Of something,
pre-existing also?
correct.
Okay,
Correct.
good. That's good, thank you.
If I could say something, this isn't.
You gotta come back up here.
Oh, sorry. Catherine Orlando, 3410, not yet, 3410 Warden, trying to get in 3410 Warden. This isn't, I don't want to put a price on it, but just so you know, it's an $18,000 fence job. It's not shabby, it's not wood, it's vinyl, it's going to be put in and installed properly. The reason for the height, as I asked before, is because my grandson, who elopes, And this is gonna be a new home, new surrounding, a big transition for him. He's this tall. The mayor's even met him when he was little. But, that's the reason for the height. And the fence will be maintained. I'm a meticulous. I can't believe people are thinking about an eyesore. That house had so much trash and garbage around that yard. And I've hired people to come in and clean and haul garbage out, and we're already starting to make the yard and beautify it. Once I'm in there, it's probably gonna be one of the most beautiful yards on that street, I can guarantee it. So that's all I have to say.
So
It will be maintained
I have
properly,
a question since you're standing there. So last time you were here,
yes.
we started to dabble down a question of if there was any movement on that. Last time you were here for 8 foot, and I think somebody, on the board even brought up, taking it down to like 3 foot or something, to get like a push mower in there to maintain basically the
Yes.
distance between the pool and the fence, just to try to compromise, and it didn't didn't
Well,
gain traction.
I was
so-
willing, but the board didn't. I was willing.
So I guess my question again, like I asked last time, how you came up with the 8 foot last time, so now I'm back here again. Is there something that's dictating that 4 foot, or is it something that you have some leverage on that to try and get it as close to the pool, but still be able to maintain mowing around it? Is there,
Yes, because I don't have a zero riding lawnmower, but the front lawnmower that I do have is a 22-inch wide. So that's why I was asking for the 4 foot variance, because the fence is so thick and the poles, it would actually reduce the area to 3 feet around that pool.
so?
The
if
fence
you-
can't go up against that pool wall.
No, no.
Everyone thinks it can, but it's
What I'm
very
saying is
unsafe.
if we had 3 foot between your pool edge and your fence edge, like, that's doable if you have a
Yes,
22
yes,
inch
sir.
pool? Okay,
Yes.
all right.
So I did go over there today and kind of looked at it and looked at the trajectory, looking from Charlie's mom's porch, different things. I think with the 3 foot, the fence is going up there regardless, whether it goes flush with the house or 3 feet out. It's gonna be a blocking thing, and that's legally, it's gonna be something that's gonna block your particular view. At 3 feet, that the trajectory on what your vision is at 110 feet away is gonna be very minimum difference from legal to not legal. If you chop that corner off on 3 foot by 3 foot, you're gonna lose a foot maybe from your porch of difference in trajectory. Looking at it legally at 3 feet, the differential is very minimum. And the pool is way larger than I anticipated when I first looked at it from the road. I think it is movable. I've moved pools, grade or no grade, but it's definitely with a deck and all the things involved. Moving that pool 3 feet would definitely be a chore. But I would like to see it as close as possible to code. If it was 3 feet, I feel that 3 feet in between that fence and the edge of that pool is a safe distance. I think if someone's gonna make an effort to get out of that top of that pool and that fence at 3 feet, they're gonna get over that pool at 6 feet. They're gonna get out of that pool. So I think 3 feet is a safe, doable distance if it can be gotten at 34, 36 inches, and I think that that's a good compromise.
Thank you.
That's kind of where I'm leaning towards.
Sharon Duvendak, 3426 Warden Road. I know she's asking for 3 foot to get a mower around there, but when they put the fence up behind her shed, she's gonna have a path like this anyway, so she's gonna have to get a weed whacker out. She could whack around the pool where it's close to the fence.
I think what we're saying though is, even if she were to draw the fence, even if she were to place the fence in line with the house, the real obstruction for you is on the side, because that is legally allowed to be 6 foot. That's where your obstruction occurs. So whether we put it in line with the house or whether we put it out 3 foot, you're talking about a trajectory of differential of maybe a foot at the end of the day. So regardless, the side property line is where your blockage really occurs. And she's legal there. That's not the issue.
3 foot back.
But the trajectory it's not gonna change that much. You're talking about being able to see here or being able to see there. Like, you're talking about a foot difference. It's not that much difference.
I'm not saying anything about it being 6 foot. I'm not saying anything about it being solid.
Yeah.
But I don't feel it needs to be out 3 feet from her home. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else here to speak for or against the matter?
I'd just like to make a comment. I think that tall fences in front yards look uninviting. I don't think it's good for our community. I think it gives the impression that it's unsafe. I know we're talking about 4 feet. I just don't like it in the front yard. I think it looks bad. I think you're probably moving that pool and that deck is probably cumbersome and costly. I understand that, but I think that you could probably get that fence a little bit closer even than the 3 feet, because you could maintain that with a weed whacker or push mower, something like that. I get that it can't be right up against the edge of the pool, but I'd really like to see it as close to the house as possible.
So we talked about a lot of stuff here, so somebody's gonna have to, if there's nobody else here to speak for or against the matter, then I would entertain a motion, but
I can make a motion. I will make a motion to accept on the condition that the fence be placed at a distance maintainable with a lawnmower. So is that 34 inches? Is it 36 inches if you want to?
no, we're gonna have
You have to have a
We're gonna
distance.
have to,
Then say
specify
30, then
what
say
that
36
distance
inches from the edge of the pool.
we got 22-inch mower. Would you,
I think the safety is a bigger issue than the width of the mower.
You
When
can't
you
do it
move away
too
from
close
that
because
radius, you're,
you could have a child step on the edge of the pool and they could still try to jump over. So we have to consider
But
that as
that
well.
child's not gonna be swimming out there with no one watching them.
Don't know.
Just a suggestion, if you're gonna make that, in a motion, to take a distance from a temporary structure like a pool,
sure,
it doesn't make sense.
no,
You're gonna have to do it in retrospect.
correct,
From the house.
correct. So there's a motion. You may,
Believe the distance the pool would
correct.
recommend you put it from.
But you could stay with the 3 foot, but then the 3 foot minus the structure of the fence is still gonna maintain plenty, it would be that less than
It's like, what, 2 foot from the house?
2.5 feet, something like that. I think we're closed, Ed. We're gonna have to remove the, motion from the table, because we're gonna have to put.
I
a
was just
motion
gonna
in
give you
clarify.
details. So there's a straight line now, so the fence would be right up against it. So whatever you say, 10 inches, you're gonna have 10 inches between the pool and the fence. You say 12 inches, you're gonna have 12 inches. You say 22, you'll have 22. You say 8 foot, you're gonna have 8 foot.
I think
Right now,
basically-
it's right even with the pool.
So I'm gonna make, so we're gonna remove the motion that's been made. I guess we'll figure out this motion, and we can't, we have to put a number to it. And I guess what that number is essentially from the front of that house. And the math can work backwards on the fence structure and the pool location, everything else.
2 foot from the front of the house.
There you go. Okay, with that, with no other questions from the board, nobody else here to speak for or against the matter, I would.
Do I need to re-motion?
Would make a new motion, correct?
All right. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to accept on the condition that the fence be placed 2 foot from the front of the house.
Say 3 foot?
2, 24 inches.
I'll second.
Roll call.
It was Bill. Ms. Curley,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Chairman Rowe.
Nope, you got one more ahead of me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Golis.
I wanted to make sure you got me first.
Mr. Golis,
Yes?
Chairman Rowe,
Yes. All right. With that, your variance has been accepted with the conditions. You understand the condition, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think we're all good here. We can adjourn the meeting at 5:27. Thank you
so
guys very
much.
much.